Her husband stood in the kitchen doorway, silent, expression unreadable, as his mother dug through his wife's handbag like it was a box of discarded things she had every right to touch. The sound of rummaging, keys, lipstick, receipts, hit the young woman like slaps, but she stayed still, breathing through the mixture of violation and disbelief rising inside her. It wasn't the first time her mother-in-law had crossed a boundary, but this felt different. This was theft disguised as entitlement. She watched as the older woman's hand paused and then curled around 2 bank cards, sliding them out slowly, triumphantly, the way someone uncovers proof of a crime. These, the mother-in-law announced as she waved the cards in the air, are for the family budget. There was no shame, no hesitation, just a cold assertion followed by her slipping the cards into her coat pocket as if the matter was already decided. The daughter-in-law looked at her husband instinctively, hoping, just once, that he would speak up, say something, show that he saw the wrong in this. But he didn't. He only blinked and lowered his eyes, the silence around him tightening like a rope. A familiar ache spread through her, an ache she no longer tried to hide, but today was different. Today she didn't fall apart. Today she didn't plead. Today she stood with a calm expression that unnerved even herself. Because 2 days earlier, after the last argument about family money, and a wife must share everything, she had quietly visited the bank and set up strict 2-step verification. No transaction, no attempt to move funds, no inquiry could happen without the security team calling her first. Her husband didn't know, her mother-in-law didn't know, no one but her knew. So she just said softly, "Okay. If you think that is right." She didn't argue, she didn't react, she simply stepped aside, letting the older woman believe she had won. Her mother-in-law smirked, mistaking silence for surrender. Finally learning how to respect elders, she muttered under her breath, not realizing the young woman heard her clearly. Her husband shifted uncomfortably, but still said nothing. The daughter-in-law turned away, walked to the sink, and washed her hands slowly, feeling the cool water grounding her. Her heart was beating fast, anger mixed with something sharper, something she hadn't felt in months, resolve. She wasn't going to scream. She wasn't going to break. She had already set everything in motion. Exactly 20 minutes later, the phone on the mother-in-law's table vibrated. She glanced casually at the screen, expecting a friend or some promotional message. But the number was unknown. Her brows furrowed, and she answered with a suspicious tone. "Hello." The voice on the other end was firm, professional, unmistakably serious. "This is the Fraud Protection Department calling regarding suspicious activity on your bank cards. We have reason to believe these cards may have been accessed without authorization. We need to verify the account holder's identity immediately." The older woman stiffened, her face flashing with confusion. "What fraud? These are family cards. I have them with permission. What is your full name?" The voice asked. "My name? Why do you need my name?" She snapped, growing irritated. "For identity verification," the agent said. "Only the account holder can authorize use." That was when reality began to settle around her shoulders like cold ice. She swallowed. "The cards are under my daughter-in-law's name, but we live together." "That counts." "I'm afraid it does not," the voice responded sharply. "Any unauthorized possession is considered a security breach. We need to speak with the account holder immediately. Until then, the cards have been locked." The older woman's eyes widened. She stood up abruptly, her chair screeching against the floor. "What do you mean locked? I didn't do anything wrong. I am her family. In our system," the man replied, "possession without consent may be reported as suspicious or even potentially stolen." "Stolen?" she gasped. "Who would say that? Why would she?" But her voice broke mid-sentence. It broke because she suddenly realized exactly who would say that. Her eyes moved slowly to her daughter-in-law, who was standing near the window, calm, quiet, watching her with the same steady expression she had earlier. "Did you report something?" The older woman choked out, her voice shaking. The daughter-in-law didn't smile, didn't gloat, didn't raise her chin in arrogance. She only said gently, "I protected my cards. That's all." Her mother-in-law's face drained of every trace of color. She stumbled back, grabbing the edge of the table. You think I would steal from you? I am your husband's mother." The young woman took a few steps forward, her voice steady but laced with a heartbreak she no longer bothered to hide. "You didn't ask. You didn't tell. You didn't hesitate. You went into my purse, took what wasn't yours, and said it belonged to the family budget. You didn't even look at me while doing it." The mother-in-law opened her mouth to scream but no words came out. Her chest heaved, and she gripped her blouse like she couldn't breathe. My cards were never yours, the young woman said quietly. And my silence was never permission. The older woman finally managed to speak, but the sound was raw, hysteria bubbling through every syllable. You set me up, you planned this, you made a fool of me. No, the young woman corrected softly. You did that yourself. Her husband finally stepped forward. Too late, far too late. Mom, just give the cards back. This is going too far. The older woman snapped toward him. You let her scheme against me. I am your mother, and I am his wife, the younger woman whispered, pain flickering across her eyes, but you never let me be. Silence fell, heavy, suffocating, thick with years of unspoken grievances. The phone agent spoke again through the receiver still in the older woman's trembling hand. Ma'am, if the account holder confirms, the lock will be lifted. If not, an official report will be filed. The mother-in-law's knees nearly buckled. Should I confirm? The younger woman asked calmly. The older woman looked at her, lips shaking, fear replacing arrogance. Please, don't ruin me, she whispered. I'm not ruining you, the wife replied softly. I'm just protecting myself. The moment she said it, everyone knew something had shifted permanently, something that would never go back to the way it was. She walked over, took the phone gently, spoke to the bank representative, verified her identity, and unlocked the cards, but not before setting a new limit and a stricter security rule ensuring that this would never happen again. When she handed the phone back, her mother-in-law was staring at the floor, humiliated but also, for the first time, aware of her own wrongdoing. Her husband finally spoke, voice trembling with guilt. I should have stopped her. The young woman nodded, tears gathering but not falling. You should have. He reached for her hand, but she stepped away. Not in anger, just in exhaustion. Respect, she whispered, is not something I should have to beg for. The mother-in-law left the house quietly that evening, the weight of her actions heavy on her back. The husband stayed sitting in the kitchen long after she was gone, realizing that silence, his silence, had caused more damage than any argument ever could. As for the young woman, she stood in the living room alone, finally breathing freely. The cards were safe, her dignity was safe, her boundaries were clear, and for the first time since she entered that family, she felt something she had forgotten long ago, her own strength. Because this time, she didn't scream. She didn't break, she simply protected herself, and in doing so, she changed everything.